The hotel ballroom glowed with gold lights and glass laughter. I adjusted my tie, still clutching the small velvet box in my pocket. My palms were sweating, but my heart was steady. Tonight, I was going to propose to Lena. When I spotted her across the room, perfect in her silver gown, every head turning toward her, I smiled. She looked at me for a second, then looked away. My chest tightened, but I forced a breath and walked over. "Lena," I said softly. "You look incredible." She didn't smile. "Ryan, you shouldn't be here yet. This is a company event. I work here too," I reminded her. "Or at least I used to before you started treating me like a stranger." Her eyes darted to the crowd. "Please don't start. I'm trying to keep this professional." "Professional?" I laughed quietly. "We've lived together for 3 years. I'm not some intern you met yesterday." Her lips curved into a smirk. "Speaking of interns." She turned, signaling someone behind her. A tall young guy in a sleek suit stepped forward, flashing an easy grin. "Ryan, meet Ethan. He's new, but very promising." Ethan extended his hand. "I've heard a lot about you, man." I shook it, my voice tight. "I doubt it's the good kind." Lena's tone sharpened. "Ryan, don't be rude. Ethan has potential. Unlike some people, he's driven, confident, and adaptable." The people around us chuckled lightly, as if her insult was just corporate banter. My throat burned. "Is that what I am to you now? A man without potential?" She folded her arms. "You're sweet, Ryan, you always were. But sweetness doesn't pay for a penthouse or impress shareholders. I need someone who pushes forward, not someone who hides behind dreams." I blinked, my heart pounding. "So what have I been doing all this time? Supporting you? Working late nights? Building your presentation decks while you took the credit?" Her eyes gleamed coldly. "That was your choice. I didn't ask you to stay small." The room seemed to hush, or maybe it was just my ears ringing. I felt dozens of eyes on me. "Lena," I whispered, "you're humiliating me." She tilted her head, her voice laced with mock sympathy. "Don't take it personally. I'm just being honest." "You were comfortable." "But I've outgrown comfort," the audience murmured. I could feel my chest caving in. "So that's it? You're replacing me with him?" Ethan shifted uncomfortably. "Maybe we should talk about this privately." Lena cut him off. "No, Ethan, he needs to understand boundaries." "Ryan, you're not my boyfriend anymore. You're a chapter I've closed." I stared at her, words dying in my throat. "You said you loved me." "I did," she said simply. "Until I realized love isn't enough." Someone in the crowd laughed awkwardly. I felt my hands trembling. "You're doing this here? In front of everyone?" "Transparency matters," she said coldly. "It's time you faced reality." My fingers brushed the ring box in my pocket. The irony almost made me laugh. "I was going to propose tonight." Her face froze for a second, then softened into a cruel half-smile. "That would have been awkward, wouldn't it?" Something inside me cracked. The laughter, the murmurs, the clinking glasses, it all blurred. I could only see her face, beautiful and heartless. I forced a small nod. "You're right, Lena, this is reality. And I finally see who you are." She rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic." I straightened my tie, swallowing the tremor in my voice. "No, drama was planning to marry a woman who only cared about status. Reality is walking away." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "You'll regret this tone, Ryan. You're still under my company's wing." I met her gaze and smiled faintly. "Not anymore. You can keep your company. And your intern." Ethan looked uneasy. "Lena, maybe you should—" "Stay out of it," she snapped. "He's just emotional." "I'm done being emotional," I said quietly. "You taught me that." I turned and walked toward the exit. Every step felt heavy but freeing. The crowd parted silently, their eyes following me. Behind me, Lena called out, "Ryan! Don't make this bigger than it is." I stopped at the door, glanced back once, and said, "It already is. You just don't know it yet." The air outside was cold. I stepped into it, finally breathing for the first time in months. My reflection glimmered faintly in the glass door, tie crooked, eyes tired, heart hollow. I pulled the ring box from my pocket and flipped it open. The diamond sparkled under the streetlight, mocking me. I laughed softly, a sound that didn't feel like mine, and whispered, "Guess she didn't deserve it anyway." I dropped it into the nearest trash bin and stood there for a long moment, watching the ballroom lights flicker behind me. My phone buzzed with a message from Sam. "How's the event?" I typed back, "Over. Everything's over." Then I paused, deleting the text. I replaced it with, "It's just beginning." As I walked away into the night, I could still hear her laughter echoing faintly from inside, the sound that used to make me feel alive. Now it was the sound that buried whatever love I had left. Something inside me hardened. Whatever I'd been before tonight, I wasn't that man anymore. "I'll make sure you remember this, Lena," I muttered under my breath. Every word, every look, every laugh. The cold wind hit my face, and for the first time I didn't flinch. I just smiled. A small broken smile that carried one promise: I would rise, and when I did, she'd be the one watching. The days after the gala felt like a fog that never lifted. I stopped answering calls, stopped showing up for work, and stopped pretending I still cared about anything. When Sam finally found me, I was sitting on the floor of my half-empty apartment, a beer can beside me and unpaid bills scattered across the table. He kicked the can lightly. "You planning to live like this forever?" I didn't look up. "Maybe it's cheaper." "Cheaper," he snorted. "You're 2 weeks from being thrown out, man." "That's not cheap. That's rock bottom." "I already hit that," I muttered. He sighed. "Ryan, she's not worth this." I laughed without humor. Tell that to the part of me still stuck at that ballroom holding a ring. Sam crouched down, his tone softer. "You really loved her, huh?" "Loved?" I shook my head. "I built my life around her. I worked for her company. I believed in her. And I clenched my jaw. She used me until I wasn't convenient anymore." "Then stop letting her win," he said firmly. "You think she's crying over you right now?" "She's drinking champagne with that intern while you rot here." I glared at him. "You think I don't know that?" "Then do something about it," he shot back. "Get up, shower, eat something that's not expired. Be a person again." His words stung, but they hit where they needed to. I rubbed my eyes. "And then what?" "Go back to work for someone else who'll use me?" "No, start over," he said simply. "You've got brains, Ryan. You just forgot how to use them." I didn't answer. I didn't have one. 2 days later, my landlord taped an eviction notice on my door. Sam helped me move my boxes into his spare room. He cracked a grin as he dropped the last one. "Congratulations, man. You're officially unemployed, homeless, and single. Rockstar lifestyle." "Thanks," I said dryly. He grinned wider. "You're welcome. Now come on. I'm buying coffee. You need sunlight before you start talking to walls." We ended up at a cozy cafe near the corner of Maple Street. The smell of roasted beans hit me first, warm, nostalgic. And then I heard a voice I hadn't heard in years. "Ryan?" I turned. Ava Miller stood behind the counter, her brown hair tied messily, flour on her cheek, eyes still the same, calm and kind. I blinked. "Ava? Wow, it's been..." "What, 8 years?" "7, she said, smiling faintly. "You look..." "Tired. Thanks. I've been auditioning for zombie roles," I said dryly. Sam snorted. "He's not kidding." Ava's expression softened. "Sit down." "Coffee's on the house." When she brought it over, she sat opposite me. "You okay?" I hesitated. "Not really. Just got dumped by the woman I thought I'd marry, publicly, at her company event." Her eyes widened. "Lena Hart? You know her?" "Everyone in the city knows her," she said quietly. "The ambitious CEO with perfect teeth and no heart," Sam coughed. "Accurate," I stared into my cup. "I thought she loved me. Turns out I was just part of her success story until someone flashier showed up." Ava's voice softened. "I'm sorry, Ryan, that's cruel." I nodded. "Cruel is an understatement." There was silence for a moment, just the sound of coffee machines humming. Ava leaned forward. "So what now? You gonna let her walk away after humiliating you?" I looked up, confused. "What do you mean?" "She took your pride, your peace, your time," Ava said, her tone steady. "You can't get that back, but you can make her regret ever thinking she could destroy you." Her words cut through the fog in my chest. "You sound serious." "I am," she said simply. "You don't have to hurt her back. Just rise so high that she has to look up to see what she lost." Sam smirked. "I like this version of Ava, vengeance with caffeine." She smiled slightly. "Not vengeance, balance." Then she looked back at me. "You've always been kind, Ryan, but kindness doesn't mean weakness. Let her learn that." I felt something shift inside me, a spark I hadn't felt since that night. "Maybe you're right. I know I am," she said. And if you need help, I'll make sure you don't give up halfway. I chuckled softly. You still boss people around like you did in school. Her eyes glimmered. Some things don't change. As I walked out of the cafe that evening, the sun setting behind the windows, I felt lighter. Sam patted my shoulder. Well, she woke the dragon. What's the plan? I smiled faintly. First, I stop surviving. Then I start rebuilding. Sounds dramatic, he said. It's not drama, I replied. It's payback. The quiet kind, Ava called out from the doorway, her voice carrying over the fading traffic. Make her regret it, Ryan. I turned back and grinned. I will. That night, for the first time in weeks, I didn't fall asleep angry. I fell asleep determined. Sit down, kid, Mr. Donovan said, waving a hand toward the chair across from him. His office smelled of old books and stronger whiskey. Sam tells me you're smart but stubborn. Which one's true? I smiled faintly. Both, probably, he grinned. Good answer. Smart men without backbone get eaten. Stubborn men without brains get crushed. Maybe you'll survive. I plan to do more than survive, I said. He leaned back. Ambitious. You've got that look, the one people get after life punches them in the gut. Tell me what you want, Ryan. I want to build something of my own, I said quietly. Something that can't be taken away by anyone. He nodded slowly. Then you'll need to learn the rules before you break them. Work with me. Learn. I'll pay you enough to eat, but not enough to get comfortable. I chuckled. Comfort never really worked out for me anyway. Good, he said, sliding a folder across the desk. First lesson, money talks, but character whispers. Learn to hear both. Those first few months were brutal. Mr. Donovan pushed me hard, numbers, clients, negotiations. I made mistakes, but I never made the same one twice. Every night I'd stay late, studying contracts under the dim glow of his office lamp. One evening, he caught me still there. You know, most men your age would have quit by now. Most men my age didn't lose everything they loved, I replied. He studied me for a moment. Revenge in your eyes. I know that look. It's not revenge, I said slowly. Not anymore. It's focus, he smiled. Whatever you call it, use it. Just make sure when you rise, you do it clean. The dirt sticks longer than the fame. The next morning, Ava dropped by the building with coffee. You look half dead, she teased. I feel half alive, I muttered, taking the cup. Progress. She sat beside me on the steps. So this Donovan guy, he's legit? Legit enough to scare half the city, I said. But he believes in me. That's new, she said softly. Someone believing in you without wanting something in return. I nodded, sipping the bitter coffee. He wants results, but yeah. It's different, she leaned forward. You've changed, Ryan. You used to talk about happiness. Now you talk about winning. Maybe they're the same thing, I said. She frowned. No, they're not. Just promise me whatever you're building doesn't turn you into her. I looked at her. Lena? She nodded. The way you say her name, it still stings. It won't forever, I said quietly. She's just motivation now. Ava smiled sadly. Good, because I'd hate to lose you to your own hate. By winter, I had learned enough to start something small, consulting for mid-tier firms that couldn't afford giants like Lena's company. I worked from Donovan's old storage room, sleeping 4 hours a night, surviving on determination and cheap noodles. One night, he walked in, saw my setup, and laughed. You're serious about this? I told you, I said. I'm not surviving anymore. I'm building. He looked at the company name I'd scribbled on a whiteboard. Rise Corp. Arrogant name, he said. Confident, I corrected. He chuckled. Confidence is arrogance with results. Let's see if you earn it. Weeks turned into months. Clients came slowly, then steadily. Ava helped with branding and outreach, bringing warmth to my cold precision. She had a way of turning my rough plans into something human. Your pitch decks are terrifying, she joked once. You sound like you're declaring war. Maybe I am, I said. Just not the kind you think, she tilted her head. You still checking up on her? I hesitated. Sometimes. Lena's company is growing fast, but arrogance burns fuel too quickly. She'll crash, Ava crossed her arms. You sure it's not obsession? It's clarity, I said. I know her patterns. She climbs too fast, cuts corners, and trusts the wrong people. Sounds like you know her better than she knows herself. Once I did, I murmured. Now I just know what she'll become. That night, I opened my laptop and scrolled through the latest financial reports on Hart Global. Profits were high, image perfect. But I saw cracks between the lines, inflated margins, rushed expansions, whispers of investor tension. I whispered to myself, "Keep climbing, Lena. The higher you go, the harder you'll fall." The next morning, Mr. Donovan caught me staring out the office window. "You're thinking too loud, kid." "Just planning," I said. He raised an eyebrow. "Plans built on anger fall fast." "Build yours on purpose," I smiled faintly. "Don't worry. I'm not planning to destroy her. I'm planning to surpass her," he nodded once. "Good. That's how real power works." As I left his office that night, I caught my reflection in the glass door. Tired, sharper, different. For the first time, I didn't see the man she left behind. I saw the man she'd one day wish she never lost. Ava pushed her phone across the cafe table. "You need to see this," she said. I glanced at the headline. "Hart Global faces allegations of financial misconduct." My chest tightened, not from shock, but recognition. "It begins," I whispered. Ava folded her arms. "You knew something like this would happen, didn't you?" "I didn't plan it," I said. But I knew Lena's greed wouldn't stay clean forever. "Still," she said softly, "you sound almost proud." "I'm not proud," I murmured. "Just satisfied," she studied me. "You ever think you still care about her?" "I used to care about her winning," I said. "Now I care about balance," she exhaled slowly. "Balance looks a lot like revenge right now." Before I could reply, the cafe TV caught my eye, a live business broadcast. Lena sat under bright studio lights, the perfect picture of composure. Her voice was smooth, practiced. "I assure you," she said to the interviewer, "Hart Global operates with full transparency. We have nothing to hide." Her smile looked steady, but her hands, those hands I once held, were trembling on the table. Ava noticed too. "She's scared," she said quietly. "She should be," I replied. The interviewer nodded. "Some reports suggest discrepancies in your recent acquisition deals." "Care to comment?" Lena's lips twitched. "Every expansion comes with risk," she said carefully. "We've grown faster than expected, but our foundation is solid," I muttered. "Your foundation's made of lies." Ava frowned. "Ryan, watch," I said. The screen cut to another clip. Michael Lane, an investigative journalist with the kind of voice that made people listen. "Anonymous insiders claim Hart Global inflated valuation reports," he said. "And one name keeps surfacing, Ethan Cross, the CFO." Ava turned to me. "Ethan, her golden boy?" I nodded slowly. "The same Ethan who thought loyalty could buy silence." Michael continued. "We reached out to Mr. Cross for comment, but his office declined. However, leaked emails suggest internal disputes about financial integrity." The camera flashed to Lena again. She was still smiling, but her eyes flickered like glass under pressure. Ava whispered, "She's breaking." "Not yet," I said. "But soon." She leaned closer. "You're really going to just watch this happen?" I looked down at my coffee, steam fading. "For once, I don't have to do anything. Karma finally learned my name." Ava shook her head. "That's dangerous thinking. Why?" "Because if you wait for karma, you start believing it works for you." I met her eyes. "Maybe it does," she sighed. "Just don't become what you hate." That night, I went home and watched the full interview replay online. Every pause, every twitch, every forced laugh. I knew that version of her, Lena, the actress of Control. But this time, I saw fear behind her eyes, the kind that only comes when the walls start whispering your secrets. My phone buzzed. "A message from Sam. You seeing this?" "The Queen's cracking," I replied. "Yeah, and her knight's about to fall with her." He sent back a laughing emoji. "Damn. Didn't think it'd come this soon. Neither did I typed. "But it's poetic, isn't it?" Later, while scrolling through comments under Michael Lane's article, I saw people tearing Hart Global apart. Fraud, corruption, greed, words she once used to describe everyone else. For the first time in months, I didn't feel anger. Just peace, quiet, strange peace. The next day, I ran into Mr. Donovan in the hallway. He had a newspaper folded under his arm. "You see the news?" he asked. "I saw everything," I said. He grinned slightly. "You had nothing to do with it?" "Not directly," he nodded. "Then enjoy it while it lasts." Watching them fall doesn't mean you've won. I know, I said. But it feels like justice. Justice and satisfaction don't live in the same house, kid, he said. One heals you. The other poisons you slow? I paused. Then maybe I'm just immune, he smirked. No one's immune. Just careful with your dosage. That evening, Ava called. You okay? Better than I've been in years. You sound calm. Too calm. I am, I said. Because for once I don't have to fight. The world's doing it for me. She was quiet for a moment. Ryan, what happens when she reaches out? She won't. You sure? I hesitated. Even if she does, there's nothing left to say. You think so, Ava whispered. But people always reach out when the ground disappears. After we hung up, I looked at the paused frame on my laptop, Lena's forced smile frozen mid-interview. For years, she'd been untouchable. Now she was human again, and for the first time since she left me in ruins, I didn't want to destroy her. I just wanted her to feel what I once did, helpless, watching everything she built crumble, one rumor at a time. 2 years changed everything. The boy who once stood humiliated in a ballroom was gone. The man signing tonight's biggest sponsorship check, he was someone else entirely. My company, Novalink, had become a rising star in the tech industry. And tonight's charity gala was my quiet declaration. I was no longer beneath anyone's feet. Ryan, Sam said, straightening my tie, you sure you're ready for this? I've been ready for 2 years, I said. This isn't revenge. It's closure, he smirked. Yeah? Then why's your hand shaking? I looked down. He was right. My fingers trembled slightly against the pen as I signed the donation check, because I can already feel the ghosts in the room. When I entered the ballroom, the chatter dimmed. Cameras flashed. My name was whispered like a rumor turned reality. That's Ryan Carter, the Novalink CEO, and then I saw her. Lena, her posture was still flawless, back straight, chin high, but her eyes faltered when they landed on me. She blinked twice as if her mind refused to believe it. Is that him? Someone near her whispered. He's the sponsor. Another murmured. I didn't stop walking. I just smiled, nodded to the host, and handed over the check. For children's cancer research, I said calmly. Every kid deserves a chance to rebuild. Applause followed. I heard none of it. I only heard the silence between me and her. Lena stepped forward, her heels clicking softly on the marble floor. Her lips curved into a careful smile. Ryan, she said, voice almost a whisper. Lena, it's been a long time. 2 years, I said. But who's counting? She laughed quietly, forced and uneven. You look different. I should hope so. Her gaze dropped to the sponsorship banner behind me, presented by Novalink Technologies. Her breath hitched. Novalink is yours? I nodded. Started it from scratch. Her throat moved as she swallowed hard. Congratulations. You've done incredible things. I had a good teacher, I said. You taught me what failure feels like. Her eyes softened. Ryan, that night, don't, I cut in. We both know what that night was. I made a mistake, she said quietly. A terrible one. Which part? I asked. Calling me a charity project or parading your new intern around like a prize? Her face flushed. I was angry. I said things I shouldn't have. No, I said. You said what you believed. She hesitated, then looked around. People were watching, pretending not to, but I could feel the eyes. The same kind of eyes that once laughed at me. She leaned in. Can we talk? Privately? I don't see why, I said. Everything worth saying already happened in public. Her voice cracked. Ryan, please. I didn't know you'd survive, I asked. She went silent. A waiter passed by. I took a glass of champagne and raised it slightly. To survival, her eyes glistened. You've changed, she whispered. I looked at her, really looked. The woman who once seemed untouchable now looked human. Fragile, even. No, I said finally. You just never really saw me. She flinched. Sam appeared beside me, grinning. Ryan, the press wants a quick photo. Of course, I said, turning to the photographer. Lena stepped back, unsure whether to leave or stay. The camera flash caught her mid-expression, half smile, half regret. As the crowd moved on, she lingered. You don't hate me, do you? I met her eyes. I don't have space for that anymore. She looked down. You sound like you're happy. I'm at peace, I said simply. That's better. For a moment, she just stood there, silent amid the laughter and music. Then she said, almost to herself, "You were always meant for more, weren't you?" I smiled faintly. "You just had to throw me away first for me to see it." Her lips trembled, but she nodded. "I'm sorry, Ryan, I know. And if I could take it back." "You can't," I said. "But maybe that's okay." The host's voice echoed from the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's top sponsor, Mr. Ryan Carter, CEO of Nova Link." Applause roared. I walked toward the stage as Lena faded into the background. As I stood under the lights, I caught her reflection in the glass wall behind the podium, watching me, small and distant. 2 years ago, she took everything I had. Tonight, without saying a single cruel word, I took it all back. Not with revenge, not with anger. Just with silence, success, and the truth she could no longer deny. The news alert popped up on my phone while I was in a meeting with Sam. "Turn on the TV," I said. Sam frowned. Bad could be poetic. He grabbed the remote, flipped the channel, and there it was. Hart Global in crisis. The anchor's voice was calm, almost sympathetic. Sources confirm CFO Ethan Cross has been accused of embezzling nearly $5 million. Internal documents suggest CEO Lena Hart may have authorized irregular transactions, Sam whistled. Oh damn, I leaned back silent. The camera switched to Lena leaving her office, cameras flashing in her face. "Miss Hart, did you know about the missing funds?" a reporter shouted. She ignored them, eyes wide, shoulders tight. Sam glanced at me. "That's your ex, right?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The screen shifted again, to Ethan standing outside a courthouse. "I didn't act alone," he told reporters. "Lena knew everything." "She told me to shift the shares." My jaw tightened. He turned on her. Ava called a moment later. "Ryan, are you seeing this?" "I'm watching." "She's finished. She's falling," I said quietly. "Not finished yet," Ava exhaled. "You don't sound happy. I thought I'd feel something. But it's just quiet." The TV showed a shaky video from inside Hart Global's headquarters. Angry employees, security guards blocking doors, voices yelling resign and fraud. The reporter continued. Sources claim HR Director Harper Quinn has leaked internal emails suggesting Lena Hart instructed staff to falsify growth reports to investors. Sam laughed under his breath. "Man, her own people are turning on her." "Harper," I muttered. "Didn't she used to handle all Lena's PR issues?" "Yep," Sam said. "Guess she's done cleaning up her mess." Ava spoke through the phone, voice sharp. "You think she deserves this?" I stared at Lena's photo on the screen, her hair disheveled, her perfect calm shattered. "Deserve?" I repeated. "I think it's inevitable. Ryan." "She built her castle on quicksand," I said. "I just walked away before it sank." Hours later, the headlines kept coming. Board votes to suspend Lena Hart. Hart Global stock drops 47% in one day. Ethan Cross in custody, Sam muttered. "That's brutal," I nodded slowly. "Karma's efficient this time." He looked at me. "So what now? You gonna call her?" "Gloat? No," I said. "I already had my closure at the gala," he chuckled. "You're cold, man." "I'm healed," I corrected. "There's a difference." Later that evening, I sat in my apartment with the TV muted. Every news channel ran the same footage. Lena escorted from her office, flashlights in her face. The same woman who once made me feel small now looked smaller than I ever imagined. I poured a drink, staring at the amber swirl. My reflection looked calm, detached. Not proud, not vengeful, just done. My phone buzzed again. Ava, texting this time. "She's trending worldwide. From CEO to scandal." "I saw," I replied. "You okay?" "I think so." Minutes later, she called. "You sure?" "You sound distant." "I'm just thinking," I said. "How strange it feels when pain runs out." She was quiet for a moment. "You wanted justice. You got it." "Yeah," I said softly, "and it doesn't taste how I imagined." "What does it taste like?" "Like silence," she hummed. "Maybe that's peace." On the screen, they showed Harper Quinn speaking outside the courthouse. As HR director, I couldn't stay silent. "Integrity matters more than loyalty," I murmured. "Guess Lena taught her that too late." Ava said gently, "You could reach out, you know. Not to forgive, just to end it." "I already ended it," I said. "The moment she called me a charity project." "She might apologize." and I might not care. Ava sighed. Then what now? I move on. Keep building. Keep living. And her? She learns what it's like to rebuild from ashes. For a while, neither of us spoke. The city lights blinked through my window, quiet and distant. Then Ava said, "You sound lighter." "I guess I am," I said, because for the first time I don't want her to hurt. I just want her to understand. The screen showed Lena again. No cameras this time, no smile, just a woman alone in the rain outside a courthouse door. Sam texted me from across town. "She's done. Officially removed as CEO." I looked at the message, then at the ring box still tucked in my desk drawer. The one I never opened that night. I whispered to no one. Karma didn't need my hand. It knew when to arrive, and for the first time since she broke me, I didn't feel anger or triumph, just peace. The rain wouldn't stop that night. It hammered against the glass walls of my office like it wanted in. I was finishing reports when the intercom buzzed. "Sir," my assistant said, voice uneasy, "there's someone asking to see you." "At this hour?" "She says it's urgent." A pause. "She says her name is Lena Hart." My hand froze over the keyboard. For a few seconds, I just stared at the blinking cursor. Then I said quietly, "Send her up." When the elevator doors opened, I almost didn't recognize her. She looked smaller, drenched, trembling, eyes hollow. Her designer heels clicked weakly on the marble floor as she stepped inside. "Ryan," she whispered, voice breaking. "Please don't send me away." "I didn't say a word," I replied, standing behind my desk. "You came here," she took a shaky breath. "I didn't know where else to go." "Strange," I said. "You always knew where to go when it benefited you." Her lips quivered. "Please don't be cruel." "I've had enough of that," I gestured toward the chair. "Sit." She hesitated, then sat down slowly, water dripping from her coat. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The only sound was the rain. Finally, she said, "I lost everything, Ryan. The company, the house, even my friends. They all disappeared when the money did." I said nothing. "I tried to fix it," she continued, tears spilling over. "I begged the board to let me explain, but they wouldn't listen. They think I'm a monster. Are they wrong?" I asked quietly. Her eyes widened. "You think that too?" "I think," I said, "you made choices, and now you're living with them." She wiped her face with trembling hands. "I never wanted to hurt you." "You did anyway." "I was scared," she said. "Scared of failure. Scared of being weak. You were so gentle. I thought I needed someone ruthless." "And you found him," I said. "How did that work out?" Her breath caught. "Ethan betrayed me. He used me, lied to me." "Poetic," I murmured. "You left me for ambition, and ambition left you for greed." She buried her face in her hands. "I deserve this, don't I?" I stared at her. The woman who once stood above everyone now looked like a shadow of herself. "Deserve is a tricky word," I said. "I don't decide what you deserve." "Life already did," her voice cracked. "You hate me." "No," I said. "I did once. Now I just feel sorry for you." She looked up, desperate. "Please, Ryan, I need forgiveness. I can't sleep, I can't breathe knowing what I did to you." I walked around the desk, standing in front of her. "Forgiveness isn't about erasing what happened. It's about accepting that it did," she whispered. "Then say you forgive me." I looked at her. Really looked. Her makeup was gone, her pride stripped bare. "I loved you when you had nothing," I said softly. "You left me when I had nothing. That's the difference between us." She broke then, really broke. The sobs came hard and raw, echoing through the quiet office. I wanted to feel satisfaction, triumph, something, but all I felt was tired. "I'm sorry," she gasped. I was blind, stupid, selfish. I cut her off gently. "Stop, you don't owe me words. You owe yourself peace." She looked up, eyes red. "Can we ever start over?" "No," I said. "That version of me is gone." Her shoulders sagged. "Then what happens now?" "You rebuild," I said. "You learn what love means when it's not tied to power." She nodded slowly, wiping her face. "I don't know how." "You'll figure it out," I said. "You're still Lena Hart. You always find a way." She stood unsteady. "Thank you for seeing me." I opened the door for her. "Goodbye, Lena." She paused in the doorway. "If you ever need anything—" "I won't," I said softly. Her eyes glistened, but she nodded and walked into the rain. I watched her silhouette fade against the glass until the elevator doors closed. The office felt heavier, quieter. I sat back down, staring at the spot where she'd cried. 2 years ago, I would have given anything to hear her beg for forgiveness. Now, I only wished her peace. Karma had already spoken. I didn't need to add another word. When the news broke that Lena had filed for bankruptcy, I didn't feel triumph, just silence. The kind that comes after a storm when the air finally settles. A week later, I asked Ava to meet me in my office. She walked in, eyes sharp as ever. "You're really considering it?" she said before I even spoke. I leaned back in my chair. "Yes," she crossed her arms. "You want to hire her? After everything she did to you?" "I want to give her a job," I said simply. "A modest one." "Nothing powerful," Ava frowned. "That's not mercy, that's madness." "No," I said quietly. "It's closure," she shook her head. "Ryan, people don't change. Especially not ones like her." I met her eyes. "Then let her prove it or not." "Either way, I'll sleep fine," Ava sighed. "You're too kind for your own good." "Maybe," I said. But kindness is the one thing she never expected from me. She looked at me for a long moment. "Just promise me one thing. If she tries to manipulate you again, you won't hesitate to let her go." "I promise," I said. Ava nodded reluctantly. "Then I'll prepare the paperwork. But for the record, she doesn't deserve this." "Maybe not," I murmured. "But sometimes grace isn't about who deserves it." When Lena entered my office the next day, she looked nervous, uncertain. No expensive perfume, no heels, just a plain gray suit and downcast eyes. "You wanted to see me?" she asked softly. "Yes," I said, gesturing for her to sit. She hesitated. "If this is about the position—" "It is," I interrupted. "I'm offering you a job," her head jerked up. "You're serious?" I nodded. "Administrative assistant. Basic salary, standard benefits. You'll report directly to Ava." Her mouth parted, but no words came. Finally, she whispered, "Why would you do that?" I studied her face. "Because I can." "That's not an answer," she said. "It is to me," I replied. "I'm not doing it for you, Lena. I'm doing it for me." She blinked rapidly. "I don't understand." "I spent years carrying anger," I said. "It was heavy. This is how I put it down." She swallowed hard. "You pity me." "No," I said. "I forgive you." "There's a difference." Her eyes filled, but she nodded. "I'll take it. I'll do whatever you ask." "I'm not asking for anything," I said. "Just honesty and effort." "Nothing more," she whispered. "Thank you." I didn't reply. I only handed her the folder Ava prepared. Weeks passed. She came in early, left late, worked quietly. No one in the office knew our history. To them, she was just another employee. But every time our eyes met across the hall, there was that flicker, recognition, regret, restraint. One afternoon, Ava stepped into my office again. "She's keeping her head down," she said. I nodded. "Good. You're really okay with this?" Ava asked. "I am," I said. "Watching her rebuild from the bottom, it doesn't give me pleasure, but it brings balance." Ava smirked faintly. "You sure you're not enjoying it a little?" I smiled. "No, I'm just done fighting ghosts." She looked thoughtful. "Then maybe that's your real victory." "Maybe," I said. "Revenge is loud. Peace is quiet. I prefer quiet." Later that evening, as I packed up, Lena appeared at the door holding a report. "Mr. Hale," she said formally. "I finished the revisions. Thank you," I said. She hesitated. "Can I ask something?" "Go ahead." "Why haven't you treated me differently?" Everyone else would have humiliated me by now. I looked at her. Because humiliation doesn't teach. "Life already did," she lowered her gaze. "I think about what I did every day." "Good," I said softly. "Reflection is the first step toward change," she looked up. "And forgiveness?" "That's not something you earn," I said. "It's something you live with." She nodded slowly. "You're not the man I used to know." "You're right," I said. "That man died the night you left. This one learned to let go." For a moment, she stood there silently, then whispered, "I hope one day I can do the same." "Start by forgiving yourself," I said. "That's the hardest part." She gave a small, trembling smile. "Thank you for everything." When she walked out, I stared at the empty doorway. Her silence was louder than any apology could be. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need validation. Every day she came to work and saw what she lost, and that was enough. I had already won. I saw her standing by the window again, staring out at the city as if searching for the life she'd lost. Lena had been working quietly for months now, efficient, polite, distant. But that morning I sensed something different. "Ryan," she said, turning slowly. "Do you have a minute?" I nodded. "Sure." She hesitated, then stepped closer. "You've been kind." "I don't deserve it. I'm not kind," I said. "Just fair." Her eyes flickered. "You could have ruined me." "I didn't need to," I replied. "You did that yourself," she exhaled shakily. "I know," the silence stretched. The hum of the air conditioner filled the space between us. Finally, she whispered, "Do you ever think about us?" I looked at her, measuring the words before answering. "Sometimes. What do you think?" she asked. "That I loved the person I thought you were," I said. "But she doesn't exist anymore." Lena's lips trembled. "You think I'm beyond saving?" "No," I said gently. "Just different. And I've changed too." She lowered her gaze. "I ruined the best thing that ever happened to me." I didn't respond. There was nothing to say that would change what had been done. "I thought money and power would make me untouchable," she went on. "But all it did was make me hollow." "Sometimes," I said, "you have to lose everything to see what really matters." She nodded slowly. "You sound like you've forgiven me." "I have," I said. "But that doesn't mean I've forgotten." Her eyes lifted to mine. "Then what am I to you now?" I thought about it. "A lesson," I said finally. "And maybe a reminder of who I never want to become." Her face crumpled slightly. "You've become colder." "No," I said. "I've become calm," she swallowed hard. "Do you ever wish things were different?" "Once," I said. "Not anymore." Later that day, Ava dropped by with 2 coffees and that look she always gave me when she sensed my mind wandering. "She tried again, didn't she?" Ava asked, handing me a cup. I nodded. "She did. And?" "I told her the truth," I said. "That forgiveness isn't love." Ava smiled faintly. "Good, because she's not the one who stood by you when everything fell apart." "I know," I said softly. "You did," she shrugged. "I just made sure you didn't drown." "You did more than that," I said. "You reminded me what it feels like to breathe again." Her cheeks flushed, but she didn't look away. "You're getting poetic now." "Occupational hazard," I said with a small grin. Ava leaned against my desk. "Do you still hate her?" "No," I said. "That's the strange part. I don't hate her at all." "Then you really have healed," Ava said. "Hate means she still owns space in your heart." "I guess I evicted her," I said. Ava laughed quietly. "Good, I like the new tenant," I smiled. "You should." "You helped build him," her expression softened. "You're different now, Ryan." "I had to be," I said. "Pain changes you, but survival shapes you." That evening, Lena came to my office one last time. Her eyes were tired, but her voice was steady. "I'm leaving," she said. "Found a position overseas." "Something small," I nodded. "That's good." "I just wanted to thank you," she continued, "for giving me a chance when no one else would." "You earned your way back," I said. "Not into my life, but into your own dignity." She gave a small, broken smile. "You always knew how to turn pain into wisdom." "I had no choice," I said. She looked down. "I wish I'd loved you the way you deserved. You loved yourself more," I said. And that was always the problem. She flinched but nodded. "Goodbye, Ryan." "Goodbye, Lena." When she left, the door clicked shut softly behind her. I stared at it for a long moment. No ache, no anger, just quiet relief. Ava entered a few minutes later. "She gone?" "Yeah," I said. Ava smiled faintly. "You okay?" "For the first time in years," I said, completely. She sat beside me, resting her hand on mine. "Then maybe it's time to start living instead of remembering." "Maybe it is," I said. Outside, the city lights flickered through the glass. The past had finally stopped chasing me. Forgiveness hadn't set her free. It had set me free, and that was enough. The ribbon trembled in my hands as the cameras flashed. A decade ago, I stood broken in a crowd like this. Now I stood at the front. Founder, CEO, survivor. Ava's hand brushed mine. "You ready?" I smiled. I've been ready for years. She leaned closer, whispering, "Then do it." The scissors sliced through the red ribbon, and the crowd erupted in applause. The flashbulbs were blinding, but my mind was calm. For once, I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. After the ceremony, reporters swarmed us. "Mr. Carter, how does it feel launching your third branch?" one shouted. "Feels like a second chance done right," I said. Ava laughed softly beside me. "You make it sound like we failed before." "We did," I replied, grinning. "That's how we learned." The crowd started to thin. My team mingled, the champagne flowed, and the music grew softer. That's when I saw her, Lena. She stood near the back, quiet, almost invisible. The woman who once commanded every room now looked like a faded photograph. Her eyes met mine, and for a moment the noise around us vanished. Ava noticed her too. "You knew she'd come, didn't you?" "I wasn't sure," I said. "But I hoped she would." Ava arched a brow. "To what, watch you win?" "No," I said softly. "To see me free." Ava nodded slowly. "She's looking at you like she's still stuck in the past." "Maybe she is," I murmured. "But I'm not." Lena hesitated, then walked toward me. The crowd parted slightly as she approached, heels clicking against the marble floor. She stopped a few feet away, her voice barely audible. "Congratulations, Ryan." "Thank you," I said evenly. "You've built something incredible," she whispered. "I always knew you could." "Funny," I said. "You didn't seem so sure when you left me in front of everyone." She winced. "I know. I've replayed that night more times than I can count." "I stopped replaying it," I said. "A long time ago." Lena's gaze dropped. "You look happy." "I am," I said simply. "Is she—" She began, glancing toward Ava. "Is she the one?" "Yes," I said. "She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." Lena nodded slowly. "I see, I used to think power meant control. Turns out it meant nothing without peace." "You learned," I said quietly. "That's something," she smiled faintly. "I did. Just too late." Silence lingered between us, soft, unthreatening. The kind that felt more like an ending than a pause. "I wanted to apologize," she said finally. "Not to change the past, just to let you know I understand now." "I know you do," I said. "And I accept it," her eyes glistened. "That's more grace than I deserve." "Maybe," I said. "But forgiveness isn't about deserving. It's about letting go." She nodded, tears spilling quietly. "You really did become the man I was too blind to see." I smiled gently. "And you became the lesson I needed to learn." Her breath trembled. "Goodbye, Ryan." "Goodbye, Lena." She turned and disappeared into the crowd. I didn't watch her leave this time. I didn't need to. The past had walked out of my life, finally on its own. Ava joined me, her voice low. "You okay?" "Better than okay," I said. "It feels peaceful," she smiled. "I like that word for you." "Peaceful?" "Yeah," she said, leaning her head on my shoulder. "You've earned it." I looked around at the people laughing, the banners with our company's name, the light catching Ava's hair. "You know," I said, "it's not about proving her wrong anymore." "It's about proving myself right." Ava squeezed my hand. "Then here's to you proving it, every single day." "To us," I corrected. She laughed softly. "To us." The night deepened outside, the city lights reflecting off the glass walls. Everything I'd lost once now returned in a different form, not as revenge, but as redemption. I remembered the boy who stood humiliated with a ring in his hand, the man who clawed his way back, and the soul who finally stopped fighting shadows. "Funny thing about revenge," I said quietly. "It burns fast, but peace lasts." Ava looked up at me, smiling. "Then keep it. Don't ever lose it again." "I won't," I said. As the guests toasted and the music swelled, I looked out at the skyline, the city that had witnessed my fall and rise. For the first time, I didn't feel the weight of the past or the need to outrun it. I was free. And this time, I wasn't starting over, I was beginning.